The February 12th, 2024 regular meeting of the Willoughby Eastlake City Schools Board of Education. This meeting is being held in accordance with Section 3313.15 of the Ohio Revised Code. Mr. Charnello, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Baer?
Here.
Mr. DeFranco?
Here.
Mrs. Verdi?
Here.
Mrs. Schatzman?
Here.
Mrs. Menser?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We would like to welcome everyone to our meeting this evening. To ensure all are aware of the way these meetings operate, we want to share the following. Prior to this evening, each board member has received for their review and consideration the agenda and materials associated with each agenda item for the board's approval. Board members can discuss the items with the superintendent and treasurer. Board members are not permitted, per Ohio Meetings Act and Sunshine Laws, to conduct conversations regarding board business outside of a public meeting. Tonight will be the first time the board can conduct conversations as a whole regarding the items on tonight's agenda. Board meeting agendas are always available through the district's website for public viewing prior to the board meeting. Community members can always email the board with questions or come and participate in the public comment portion of our meeting. Public comment provides an opportunity for the community to address the school board directly. In order to participate in public comment, participants would sign up before the meeting. When signing up, you are provided a copy of our public participation policy. Participants are asked to abide by those requirements. We will now move on to our agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve item 2A, approval of agenda?
Madam President, I move to approve 2A agenda.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Baer?
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco?
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi?
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman?
Yes.
Mrs. Menser?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Dr. Ward?
All right, this is the best part of my job because I get to highlight some of the amazing things happening throughout the district. And as you noticed, each week we've brought a campus, or each month, not each week. We couldn't have that much fun. Each month we brought a campus in here to celebrate. So tonight I want to welcome Miss Pasquale, who's going to celebrate Longfellow Elementary, as well as Mr. Bonnick, who's going to recognize Soy tonight. If you guys would come on up. Thanks for coming out. And Mrs. Lawson.
Well, good evening, everyone. At this time, we would like to honor London Drake. London, will you come up here, please? There she is. You can stand right there, sweetie, and face everybody, okay? All right. We are thrilled to honor London Drake, who is an outstanding fifth grade student at Longfellow Elementary School. London is a well-rounded student who we would like to recognize for her kind-hearted and compassionate nature, which has made a positive impact on her peers and the social community at Longfellow Elementary School. In addition to her compassionate nature, London has taken on a significant role in helping with morning announcements. Her dedication and responsible approach to this task has contributed to the smooth and organized start of each school day. By taking on this responsibility, she has not only showcased her leadership qualities, but has also become an invaluable asset to the daily morning routine at Longfellow. London is a student who represents a kind and caring outlook that resonates throughout the school. Her positive attitude and kind heart have earned her positions with our Longfellow leaders and our safety patrol. These are two more examples of her leadership abilities. London's achievements in academics and her kind and caring demeanor make her a standout individual at Longfellow Elementary School. We are excited to celebrate London and recognize the positive impact that she has on Longfellow Elementary School every single day. Nice job, London. That's where you stand. Give me that. Okay. And next, we have Abigail Menser. You get to stand up here now with her suntan. Okay. Abigail is a remarkable fifth grade student at Longfellow Elementary School, and we are excited to recognize her tonight for her exceptional qualities. Abigail is an outstanding student who consistently demonstrates maturity beyond her years, displaying kindness, intelligence, and a willingness to always help others. Abigail's maturity shines through in how she handles herself in various situations, showing a level of responsibility and thoughtfulness that is truly impressive. Alongside her maturity, she is consistently displaying kindness, making a positive impact on her peers, and earning the respect of staff and her peers. Furthermore, Abigail goes above and beyond by actively offering her assistance in the office daily by not only organizing student participation and getting everybody ready for those announcements, but leading the daily announcements. Her helpful and considerate nature contributes to the smooth operation of morning announcements, and her willingness to lend a hand is always greatly appreciated. Abigail is also involved in safety patrol, and she also serves as the Longfellow leader. Longfellow leaders are a group of students that are reliable role models in the school. Abigail is a shining example of the values we uphold in our school community, and we are delighted to recognize and celebrate her today for her maturity, kindness, intelligence, and helpfulness. Abigail is a true definition of a mighty Mustang. Congratulations.
All right, from the School of Innovation, I would like to first bring up fifth grader Emma Bokal. You as well get to stand there while I say lots of nice things about you, so here we go. Dependable, respectful, and tenacious. When we hear these words, we think of Emma Bokal. Emma walks into school each day with a bright smile and a positive attitude. She is motivated and strives to do her best in all she does, and will put in the hard work that is involved in success. Emma consistently shows that she is a wonderful role model for her peers and works collaboratively with other students. Her small acts of kindness, like picking up the classroom at the end of each day, making a homemade gift for a teacher, and overall work ethic don't go unnoticed. On top of all the above, she is also proving to be a wonderful big sister and a supportive friend. Emma makes the world a better place, and she is an important part of our fifth grade class at the School of Innovation. We can't wait to watch her continued growth and achievement as a soy spark. Congratulations, Emma Ball. All right, and next I bring up eighth grader Kevin Dong. The School of Innovation strives to create students who are lifelong learners and who are also intrinsically motivated to solve the most challenging problems. Eighth grader Kevin Dong is the epitome of what the School of Innovation stands for. His instructional teams love having Kevin as a student. His work ethic and attention to detail are exemplary. Kevin thinks beyond the walls of our school and stretches his mind to solve problems and overcome challenges. He is friendly, outgoing, and surrounds himself with good people. He is always respectful and truly interested in what others have to say. Kevin stands as a true testament to the values and aspirations of a Willoughby Eastlake soy student and embodies our core behavior principles of safety, ownership, and integrity. He is truly a remarkable spark. Congratulations, Kevin. There you go.
Thank you. We'd like to take a 5-minute recess so the students that were honored can go out into the hallway and take pictures.
All right, we're going to continue now with our honors and celebrations. Now that we got the kids out of here, we'll move on to the adults.
Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, continuing on with our great people at Longfellow, we are recognizing Lisa Gabriel. If Lisa Gabriel can come up here. She's at every board meeting too. Usually in the back. Okay, this is Lisa Gabriel, our school secretary. Lisa Gabriel is a valuable staff member, and her exceptional qualities make a profound impact on our daily operations at our school. With unparalleled organizational skills, she efficiently manages administrative tasks, ensuring that everything runs smoothly. Her warm and welcoming demeanor creates a positive atmosphere, making students, parents, and staff feel valued and supported daily. Beyond her ability to multitask, Lisa possesses a keen attention to detail, consistently ensuring accuracy in records and communications. Her dedication to her role extends beyond the call of duty, as she goes above and beyond to assist anyone in need. In times of challenges or questions, she remains calm and composed, offering a reassuring presence. Our school secretary, Lisa Gabriel, is not just an administrative professional. She is a vital and caring member of our school community, contributing significantly to its success and harmony. Longfellow is so lucky to have Lisa Gabriel as our school secretary, as she brings a wealth of knowledge and dedication to her job. Anyone that works in an elementary school knows the vital importance of a school secretary and knows that they are the real MVP. Or the boss. Thank you, Lisa, for all you do. I want you to stay up here. Here, you guys. Yes, stay up here.
All right, and I would like to bring up from our classified staff, Dawn Igarashi. Dawn loves being the center of attention. That's awesome. That's amazing. All right, Dawn started as a noon aide at Grant many moons ago. She was then a health aide at McKinley and TJ. Barry Alves and Lori Duggar talked her into applying for clerical positions in the district. She was hired for St. Mary Magdalene in the trailer for a few years part-time, then full-time at Willoughby South as a classroom assistant for 1 year. At Longfellow, she was a classroom assistant, then moved to clerical, then special ed secretary. She left there to be Royal View's principal secretary for a few years, then went back to Longfellow to take on the same role there. Eventually, she came to Open Soy and never looked back. Let me expound a little bit on the opening of Soy. A principal secretary's job is hard enough helping to manage a building. They are part of the front line every day for parents and students. They are fixers and organizers of many things, me included. But imagine the extra layer of difficulty opening a new building with completely unique problems and no real blueprint of how to function day to day. Dawn did that, and she did it as well as anyone could have imagined. Under her watchful eye, the School of Innovation has flourished, and she is a major part of that success. As a relatively new school administrator, her guidance has been crucial for me. And I am not really sure what messes I would have made without her there to keep me focused and effective. She does far more than she is required, and she does it all without me even asking. We joke that Dawn is the sparkle queen because of her clothing that she likes to bedazzle, but I would say that she sparkles even more on the inside. When she finally retires, which is going to happen soon, to a pickleball court, hopefully somewhere warm. She will be greatly missed, but her contributions and accomplishments will be remembered forever. Congratulations, Dawn. Hold on, Dawn, don't go anywhere.
Willoughby Eastlake City Schools resolution. Whereas a principal secretary plays a vital role in the smooth operation of the school, providing invaluable support in areas such as scheduling, communication, organization, and problem solving. And a principal secretary fosters a positive and welcoming environment in the school, always greeting everyone with a smile and exhibiting a willingness to help. And a principal secretary goes above and beyond her duties to support students and staff, offering a listening ear, words of encouragement, and practical assistance whenever needed. And a principal secretary demonstrates unwavering commitment, diligence, and professionalism in carrying out their responsibilities, playing a crucial role in fostering a positive and efficient school environment. And a principal secretary consistently exhibits excellent organizational skills, attention to detail, and the ability to handle multiple tasks with grace and efficiency, ensuring the effective functioning of the administrative office. And a principal secretary is a valuable member of our school community, working collaboratively with staff, students, and parents to enhance communication and facilitate a supportive atmosphere within our school. And a principal secretary exemplifies the values of integrity, reliability, and dedication, serving as a role model for colleagues and inspiring others through their commitment and excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Willoughby Eastlake Schools hereby recognizes and honors the contributions of secretaries in our educational system and the positive impact they have on the lives of staff, students, and the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Dawn Nagarashi, School of Innovation, and Lisa Gabriel, Longfellow Elementary, as a symbol of our appreciation for their tireless efforts and profound impact on the lives of students and the community as a whole. Thank you.
Okay, continuing with excellence, I now get to introduce Mrs. Sam Laurinaitis, who is a fifth grade teacher at Longfellow. Now you get to stand here. We are excited to honor our exceptional fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Sam Laurinaitis, for her outstanding leadership skills, innovation in the classroom, and compassionate approach to working with students. Sam is a dedicated teacher that has demonstrated remarkable leadership skills by implementing creative and effective teaching methods that engage students in the learning process. Her innovative approaches have not only made lessons exciting, but have also inspired a love for learning among her students. When there is an opportunity for growth and learning through PD, Sam will always volunteer and attend. She piloted an AI feedback tool for teaching math this year and has also offered to be the point of contact for anyone else interested in trying this valuable tool. She also serves as a grade level chair and is on an important district-wide committee that is responsible for identifying skills needed to be a successful graduate of the Willoughby Eastlake Schools. Beyond her innovative techniques, we would like to recognize Sam for her kind and supportive ways of working with students. She fosters an incredible positive and inclusive classroom environment, ensuring that each child feels valued and encouraged to reach their full potential. Her commitment to understanding and addressing the individual needs of each student has made a lasting impact on the academic and personal growth of students. Sam's innovation and kindness exemplify the qualities that make her an invaluable asset to Longfellow Elementary School. We are proud to celebrate her accomplishments and express our gratitude for the positive influence she has had on the lives of all of our students. Thank you so much, Sam. I have your certificate. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay up there.
I would like to bring up now sixth grade teacher from the School of Innovation, Miss Christina Alvord. Miss Alvord began teaching in 2000 and worked at Willowick Middle School, McKinley, Grant, and eventually took one of the initial positions at the School of Innovation, where she currently teaches sixth grade. Christy, like all of us that signed up to train to come to Soy, took a huge leap of faith, going from an established position at Grant to something brand new and uncharted. We really had no idea what we were getting into. We are very fortunate that she did so. In the 8+ years that followed, Miss Alvord has been instrumental in making Soy a smashing success. Her contributions to the problem-based learning format at Soy have been exceptional, along with her dedication to providing her science students with consistent, hands-on, deeper depth of knowledge learning experiences. As accomplished as she is as an instructor, she is also just as accomplished at building relationships with students and the staff. Miss Alvord was doing that well before it became an educational buzz phrase. She is a culture captain at Soy, always available for help or someone to talk to, students and staff alike. Soy prides itself on its collaborative culture. In a building full of type A personalities, we need an Alvord to help calm the waters, direct our focus to the task at hand, and most of all, remember to laugh every once in a while. No matter what is going on in her life, she never lets it show and always stays positive. In the time I've had the pleasure of working with her, I can't remember a single time that she ever raised her voice in anger. Not even once. Not even at me. And I can be a handful. She takes on challenges and responsibilities without a complaint and throws all of her energy into everything she does. If I need something done, I know I can go to her because I have learned from experience that she can make anything awesome. Miss Alvord is as exemplary in the field of education as you may ever encounter, and she deserves every bit of this recognition. Congratulations.
Whereas the educators within our community are dedicated individuals who tirelessly strive to cultivate the minds of our future leaders. And educators play a pivotal role in shaping the intellectual and emotional growth of our students, imparting knowledge and instilling the love of learning. And the commitment of educators extends beyond the classroom as they serve as mentors, role models, and sources of inspiration for the young minds under their guidance. And the influence of educators reaches far beyond academic achievements, contributing significantly to the development of responsible, compassionate, and well-rounded citizens. And educators are a valuable member of our school community, working collaboratively with students, families, staff, and the community to facilitate a supportive atmosphere in their classroom and in the school. And the challenges faced by educators are numerous, yet their resilience, creativity, and unwavering dedication to the betterment of our students and the community remain exemplary. And recognizing the contributions of educators is essential in fostering a culture of appreciation and support for the crucial work they undertake daily. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Willoughby East Lake Schools hereby recognizes and honors the contributions of educators in our educational system and the positive impact they have on the lives of students, families, and the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Christina Alvord, School of Innovation, and to Samantha Laurinaitis, Longfellow Elementary, as a symbol of our appreciation for their tireless efforts and profound impact on the lives of the students and the community as a whole.
Moving on to item 4A, public comment. Mr. Charnello, do we have anyone signed up this evening?
Denise Ward.
Good evening, Dr. Ward and the Board of Education especially. Hi, Denise. I love saying my name. So I am here today because, first of all, I'm Denise Ward. My grandson attends Soy, and my granddaughter attends Grant. I am a 40-year educator, and I retired 2 years ago, and I vowed this year I am going to volunteer at my grandchildren's school. And so this year I've had the opportunity to work with Miss Brown. She is awesome. So I'm not here to complain because we hear that often at board meetings. I'm here to compliment Miss Brown. She is awesome. When I met with her in August, she gave me a chance to share a little bit about my background. And more importantly, she welcomed me into Grant. And the teacher said, Miss Ward, you can come and help us. That takes a lot for you to allow another educator to come into your building and to work with your students. They trusted me. So now when I walk in, it's, hey, Miss Ward, hey, Miss Ward. Or Terry will say, Miss Ward, can you come in today? Because I said, I'll sub a little bit. I could sub every day, but I'm retired. So I just wanted to thank you for hiring, and please continue to support Mrs. Brown. She might be short in stature, and she might be small, but she's mighty, and she's a strong leader. What really came to touch my heart, the first day she walked me around the building, and there was a fifth grader, a fourth or fifth grader. He was bigger than her. He was taller than her, but he missed her, and he just came up and he just grabbed her, and her response was so authentic. You don't find that everywhere, but I tell you, your building is only as great as your leader, and she's a great leader. Continue to support her and continue to hire other leaders like her so that we can teach, learn, and do what? We can grow. I thank you so much for everything you're doing. I know it takes a lot, and I know we often hear the complaints, but I'm just here to say thank you for Mrs. Brown and for the teachers at Grant Elementary.
Thank you.
Angie Prohaska.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? I wanted to bring up something that I heard at last meeting.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Oh, sorry, Angie Prohaska, Willowick, Ohio, 25 years. I wanted to ask about parental rights. I'm going to say this because I heard somebody mention it on the board. And I would like to ask what this board member, and there was also a public commenter who mentioned it, referring to it last meeting when they mentioned the parental rights. And I was kind of baffled a little bit, like, we have parental rights. We've always had parental rights. I've had 4 kids come through the school. I have 2 that graduated in 2014, 1 in 2017. I have 2 in the school now. I've always known everything that goes on with their education, everything. And anything that happens with them pertaining in the school, I know about it, always have. So, and then we have FERPA, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And so I personally have never had a problem with parental rights, and something that we've always had, and never had a problem with it. And I just kind of wanted to know what that means to you. So anyways, let's see here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I thought I would need my notes, but no. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to know what that means to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5A, board discussion.
I do have a little bit of an update for the Community Advisory Committee, and Dr. Ward, if I forget anything, please feel free to help me remember. So we had our first meeting of 2024, and first, again, thank you to the board for allowing me to be the liaison, because it was just as wonderful as I hoped it would be. We have a wonderful group of community members and 2 students. So we have a student from North High and South High, and everybody at the meeting is comfortable enough to speak. They're there and committed to work. And it's wonderful because you don't have to ask. Everybody's like, I have an idea, let's talk about this. It was wonderful to see such engaged individuals on the committee. There were 4 things that were covered in the meeting. There were 3 questions used in a brainstorming. The 3 questions asked, what do we wish the community and ourselves knew about the district and school? And then the second one was, what are some ideas and or thoughts surrounding parent and school communication or school to student communication? And lastly, effective ways for the district to communicate with the community at large. And it was a great brainstorming session. A lot of good ideas, as well as just questions to explore, were brought up by the group. There was some work assigned to a few members to reach out to some other elected officials throughout the other communities to see how we could collaborate and use distribution lists in like Willoughby, Eastlake, and the alike to get our message out to the community and vice versa. So just that 2-way communication. And additionally, they're still working on their bylaws, and they're really developing and trying to find the flavor that works best for the Willoughby Eastlake committee, as the bylaws are really kind of drafted after the Westlake version. But Westlake is Westlake, and we're Willoughby Eastlake. So they're trying to find what works best for them. And we have an additional meeting upcoming in February. And that's really the high level. I could go into more detail, but what I think we can do is they do a great job of taking notes. If anybody would like more information about the meeting, we can reach out to the committee because they do a great job of taking meeting minutes for themselves, and we can request a copy if need be. Did I forget anything? Boom, mic drop.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything for board discussion? Okay, we'll move on to 5B, legislative update. Mrs. Schatzman, take it away.
Okay, so since we last met, the Property Tax Commission that was convened out of the last budget bill and started meeting in 2024 has had a couple of meetings. Right now, they're just doing invited testimony. So the first group they had was the county auditor and the Board of Revision. So essentially, the people who are assessing the taxes, collecting the taxes, and then providing a way to resolve and kind of dispute any taxation that has been issued, which is the Board of Revision. And then they also brought in the Farm Bureau, as well as 3 groups, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, the Chamber of Commerce of Ohio, and the Ohio Business Roundtable to hear from the commercial side of the equation. And so what's interesting is that as they're going through, of course, everyone agrees that there is, essentially a crisis right now where there's many people, especially aging members of our community, are being taxed out of our home. But one question that they posed was, does anyone have an example of a state that has low property taxes, low income taxes, or potentially no income taxes, and good public education? And as of yet, no one has been able to provide an example, which is really what the conundrum is, right? Because we want to fix this property tax situation, but also that's where the bulk of public school funding is coming from. So I think this relates back nicely to an update that the Department of Education and Workforce actually recently gave us about school vouchers. So I think what we'll kind of go back to, and we've talked about this over time a little bit, is where the money is coming from. So at our level as a public school, we get, as part of the fair school funding, some chunk of money which we're getting from the state. Now the state's money, majority of that is coming from sales tax. So there's a base portion of our sales tax which goes straight to the state before our local communities can kind of add on to that, which is 5.75%. And then there's state income tax. So that money is what's really being used to fund schools at the state level in public education, but also now this Ed Choice voucher program. And 100% of the Ed Choice voucher program is coming out of that state portion. They're not raising any money from property taxes. The problem is when people talk about this whole pie, is all of this money works together. So income taxes and property taxes, there's a relationship when you want to fund public goods. So if you're looking at where is this voucher money coming from, and then where is majority of our money coming from, then you start to see the problem with looking at this in the whole picture. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on where we are. So originally it was estimated that vouchers would be 300 and some odd, let's call it $400 million. As of October, there had already been $240 million, not necessarily paid out, but allocated to vouchers. Since that time, the number of applications that have been approved have doubled. However, we don't have final numbers because there was a change in the way data was reported. So back in October, when we were talking about the Ohio Department of Education versus the new DEW, they were reporting how much money had been approved in vouchers versus now the DEW is reporting how much has been paid out. So if you look at those numbers, what was reported in October looks like it's gone down since that time, but in reality, that's just the money that's already kind of left and been paid to these institutions and not the total money. So when we look at June, we're gonna have a much better estimate. And based on these numbers, it looks like it's gonna far exceed what the estimates were. There's also another bill in the legislature, HB 339, which is about establishing additional state funding for non-chartered educational savings accounts, which would be paid directly to the parents instead of to the schools for schools that actually don't have any state regulation. So that's additional money. So I just want to paint this picture because I know we all care about where our tax dollars are coming, how they come to schools, where the money is coming from, to keep us all up to speed at kind of what's going on as this continues to play out. So I will keep you guys posted. I know for sure they're going to invite testimony from the Ohio School Boards Association, superintendents and business officials. So that will be coming, and I'm sure we will be giving our input as well, and I'll let you know about opportunities for us to weigh in this discussion. To go back to the State Board of Education, they also met today. Lots more talk about the move to a new location, as well as their funding. So they're in a little bit of situation now where the way they can raise additional money to pay for their costs is to increase the cost of professional licensure for teachers, which does not seem like a great move at a time when we are facing a teacher shortage. So I hope that is not the direction that this group has to go, but they are a little bit hands tied until they go back to the legislature. So one of the things they did today was put forward a resolution under an emergency to go to the legislature and ask for fair funding of what they've been asked to do, so it does not become that the onus is now pushed on teachers to fund their own licensure, because that will create a crisis, I fear, for schools. So that's something we're gonna keep our eye on as well. In terms of the whole legislature, I reported on HB 68. The Senate did also override the veto, which means that 90 days would be April 23rd. HB 68 would go into effect. However, there are already some pending lawsuits from the ACLU and such, so we will follow what actually happens with that bill. Another one passed was HB 2, was amended and passed by the House, which has to do with local appropriations. You might hear a lot about this in the news because it was pushed through really quickly, and it probably has a lot to do with politics and optics about what's going on for primary elections, because if you look at where the money goes, it was strategically reinvested in communities that tie to where their legislatures are in power. So we're not sure if that will pass through the Senate. It's likely that it won't, but that's something you might be hearing about. We will obviously keep our eye if there's money invested in our community that can go to any of our school capital projects. SB 17, which is about placing capitalism back into the financial literacy standard, was passed by the House, but it was actually amended, so it has to go back to the Senate for concurrence. But this goes back to the new financial literacy standards and updating them. One of the things we'll have to watch for is these standards are new and they just came out, and there's like 27 standards, and this is adding now 10 more. And the real debate that they had was not whether capitalism is important, which of course it is important for our students to understand, but financial literacy is much more about like opening bank accounts and understanding how to do personal finance than really like the theoretical. So there was a lot of debate about whether this really shows up, capitalism shows us a lot more in government classes or world history, or even sometimes like microeconomics or macroeconomics. So we'll see how that plays out, and we will have to update our standards accordingly if that should happen. I talked a little bit about HB 339, about additional educational savings accounts, and then there's also HB 214, which is in the Senate Education Committee, about staff school speech. We also have HB 344 that we're going to keep an eye on, which is in the House Ways and Means, which is about changing the type of levies that are offered. We do not have any replacement levies. We have not used that as a tactic. many municipalities or school districts will use a replacement levy. This bill is about not only eliminating that, but I think what would be more relevant to us is the third-party challenge of property values, which is actually going to come up on our agenda tonight because of some changes in legislation. So they're making it harder and harder for entities like schools to challenge property values, especially around larger commercial properties or those sorts of things when the value is very discrepant in terms of maybe what we think it's worth versus what the auditor has originally said it was worth. So that's something we'll have to look at if that bill does pass. And then finally, I just wanted to update you guys on the school safety bus recommendation. The work group put forth 17 recommendations. None of them were mandates in terms of school buses need to have these things. It was more, here's some more training that we believe should happen. Here's a list of safety devices, everything from seatbelts to light up arms that come off the bus to cameras. And really what they're advocating is that the legislature should consider putting aside some money into grants so that new buses, as they're manufactured, can be outfitted with these additional safety equipment, in addition to providing more aggressive training, recertification, and then safety audits. So I will keep you posted when that happens as well, and as things progress later this week. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I will forward you emails if anything urgent comes along from the legislature in the meantime.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6A, approval of minutes of January 8th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve 6A?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve item 6A.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Do I hear a motion to approve 6B, approval of minutes of January 18th, 2024?
I move to approve 6B, minutes of January 18th, 2024.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Do I hear a motion to approve 6C, approval of minutes of January 22nd, 2024?
Madam President, I motion to approve the minutes for January 22nd, 2024.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Do I hear a motion to approve 6D, approval of minutes of January 25th, 2024?
I motion to approve item 60, January 25th, 24.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Are we allowed to put the minutes on the consent calendar? That's my discussion.
Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Affirmative.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yay.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Charnello, you are up with the treasurer's report.
Thank you. 7A, we have the monthly financials for the month ended July 31st, 2024. Our cash continues to fall as you would expect because we will not receive our first property tax advance until what looks like February 21st of this month. Interest rates also have now begun to fall. I mentioned a few times about how it was becoming stagnant and would begin to pull back. We're now beginning to see a slight pullback. The Fed has not cut rates or anything like that yet, but I would expect to see something in the next few months. Our revenues in total are where we would like them to be at this point in the year, and our revenue or expenditures in total are less than expected. This is a combination of timing of payments or being invoiced and us being mindful of our expenditures. 7B, petty cash. This is normally done in July. However, there was a retirement and a new designee needed to be added to this program. That new designee is Donna Solano. 7C, grant application acceptance. The Berlin grants. These are for supplies for independent living and life skills, preparing them for adulthood. For bacterial transformational mini labs, field trips, and a course at Ashland University for project-based learning in secondary English. The Rebel families, it's buying a curriculum, some books, which is The Crucible and The Great Gatsby, food and cooking supplies for the resource room, and they're buying some gardening tools for the courtyard sustainability project. Lakeland Foundation, they're buying amino acid to protein 3D modeling and supplies for students to solve a crime. And the Ohio Grant Partnership, this is the
Wait 1
purchase.
second. Like a real crime or like a fake scenario-based learning experience?
I'm
I mean,
assuming
everybody
it's a-
thought it.
I
just
think
had to
it's
ask
for
it.
forensics, right?
A forensics
I think it's
Must
for
be
the
for
forensics
forensics.
class.
Okay.
It's project-based learning.
I mean, I'm all for us partnering with local community members to have real practical experience, but
To put an end to all rumors, we are not solving crimes in the
Crimes.
community.
Correct.
we just need a little more detail there. Thank you, Mr.
Noted.
Charnello.
Thank you for the clarification, or the clarifying point. That would probably partner well with the next grant, which is for the purchase and installation of flock cameras at North and South High School. And these are in reference to agenda item in 10A, and these cameras read license plates, so there you go. Solving crimes. The DEW grant is for the purchase of a new steamer in the Willoughby Middle School kitchen. The Ohio Department of Education Higher Education Grant is for grants for students in the adult education program, and then another higher ed grant is for equipment and construction of a new simulation lab. So lots of grants this month, which is great news. 7D, that is to establish the creation of the accounts for those grants that we just reviewed. 7E, purchase orders. Much like last month, we do a 6-month purchase order for our utility bills, and this one just happens to be for our gas bill, and it did go over slightly in terms of the total amount, and that is due to just utilities rising across the board, just like you see it in your own home. Also is true for the school district. And then we have a couple then and now certificates. The first is for a teacher that was on maternity leave and would like to purchase her service credit, and as a result, the school district has to pay the employer portion. So she initiated that process, and that was something we had to pay. And then the other was an installation of a new generator in a kitchen. So they rushed and got that new generator before they got their acquisition in place. But sometimes emergencies happen, and they had to make sure the generator was in the kitchen. 7F, student activity accounts. This is to establish the budget purpose and goals for all these activity accounts for fiscal '24. And a lot of these are revisions, or you even have a couple new budgets for those grants that were mentioned earlier in the agenda. 7G, gifts and donations. Rose Turner donated a 2003 Toyota Highlander to the NCI Willoughby's Auto Collision Program. The Willoughby East Lake School of Innovation PTO donated $5,452.07 to reimburse the district for the 22-23 soy field trip and transportation costs. And the Willoughby East Lake Schools Foundation donated $5,194.68 to various student activity accounts. And Mary Fitzgerald donated $456.86 to the East Lake Instrumental Music for the purchase of amplifiers. 7H, the Performing Arts Center rental fees and guidelines. They're changing the rate for PAC interns to $20 an hour. Before, renters were willing to pay for a light intern, but not for a sound intern, but later found they needed a sound intern, so they're making it mandatory that if they're using or plugging into the soundboard, they must have an intern as well. And moving on to 8A, treasurer resolutions, property evaluation complaints. House Bill 126 became effective July 19th of 2022, and if the criteria discussed is met, it is our statutory duty to identify these properties and move them to the Board of Revision for review. The requirements are it must be at least a difference of $500,000 and 10% higher than the county auditor's valuation. That's why there's only 4 of them. And the difference is identified between the county auditor's valuation and the sale price. And so we only file on commercial properties and properties that are held for investment purposes, not people's primary residences. 8A, the property valuation complaint. This one is seeking an increase from $276,650 to $1.75 million, as the sale was on May 20th of 2022. 8B, an increase from $1,725,000 to $4,839,828 based on a sale on January 14th of 2022. 8C, an increase from $1,098,100 to $2.55 million based on a January 6th, 2022 sale. And 8D, an increase from $690,790 to $1.5 million based on a January 5th, 2022 sale. And these 4 would be up for your consideration in letter 8E.
Do I hear a motion to approve items 8A to 8D?
I have questions, just real quick.
We have to motion
Oh,
to
okay,
discuss it.
okay.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve 8E consent vote for treasurer resolution.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
What are these properties? Now, I was able to find 3 of the 4. Jones Estates I couldn't find much upon, but I did find some of them seem to be apartments, senior living. As Ms. Schatzman mentioned earlier in the meeting, that our seniors are getting taxed out of their homes. If we raise the taxes on them, do we guarantee that their cost stays the same? I don't know if we can. And what was it, 8A, or no, D, seems to be something to do with the trucking industry. Can we, what is D and Jones, the AMZA, OJGH LLC? That seems to be the trucking industry, something to do with the trucking industry. And then the Jones Estates, I couldn't find that one. It didn't have an address, so I wasn't able to track it down.
We typically only look at the property type and also if they are tax exempt or not. And they're not, what type of industry they're in. Or, just because they own the property, they could rent it or do something else with that property. So we don't typically look into the actual business itself, just at the property use.
Can I ask a clarification question just on that? So my understanding is because of the way our levies are structured, that they're fixed sum levies. So if we're looking at the whole pie, which majority of our, taxpayers who are paying in, since our renters are not directly, although we know when property taxes are raised, sometimes they're passed along to renters, which, we can't really monitor or control per se. However, majority of the people who are paying property taxes directly to us, when we're looking at a fixed sum, anytime we ask someone, especially with a discrepant value, when we're talking about $200,000 versus over $1 million of valuation, all of those taxes that are rightfully potentially owed by this other entity, that's going to come out of the larger pie that everyone else is paying. So it actually helps everyone when we can find places where people are not, quote, paying their fair share. So I would hope and think that by doing this, we're actually helping with the overall net effect on our community. Although, to your point, obviously, if someone is renting things out, we can't necessarily get involved in controlling rents. But that at least is my understanding and intention of why we would do something like this, and why the ability to lose this ability to challenge properties in legislation could potentially be harmful to not only the district, but also to our community. Because we're not necessarily trying to get more money for us, we're trying to make it more fair across the property tax sharing. Is that fair?
So our levies, the emergency levies we have are fixed sum, so they can only generate what they were passed for. So it would just redistribute or rebalance that tax burden across all of their taxpayers. So it wouldn't be like generating additional dollars for the school district. It would just be lowering the tax bill for all other Class 2 properties. And actually, because we're not at the 20 mil floor for Class 2, it would further reduce it because of House Bill 920.
But we can't guarantee that rent doesn't go up, correct? We can't, and
That's
I'm,
probably at the discretion of the landlord, and
Right.
they could raise it regardless.
Any other discussion?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Tarnello for the upfront information in advance of tonight's meeting to help us understand how the legislation is impacting how you and the district approach these, as well as the information provided. It really helped clarify why we're taking action on these items tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco?
no.
Mrs. Verdi?
No.
Mrs. Schatzman?
So in the spirit of also similarly a few months ago, I voted the same way. Well, I voted no a few months ago. However, that's not how I'm voting now. But based on the same principle, which is that we need every dollar so that we can protect our community, that we have to protect our base of taxpayers. And I think this is our best way to do it. So I vote yes.
Mrs. Menser?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Dr. Ward, you're up next.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Under item 9A, I want to talk about our South and our North high school experience nights that we recently hosted on both of our campuses. During the past month, we had two incredible opportunities to showcase some of the world-class programming that our students in Willoughby Eastlake have access to. Our North High School and South High School experiences nights were the first step in welcoming the class of 2028 into their high school experience. We had a chance to highlight our programming in the academics, the arts, as well as athletics. Of note, we highlighted the over 110 different courses that students in 9th through 12th grade have access to. We highlighted the wide range of AP classes our students can choose from, as well as the wide range of College Credit Plus courses students can take in collaboration with colleges while they're in high school. We also noted the 24 different career tech programs that our students have access to in Willoughby Eastlake schools. And like I like to tell people, we're just getting warmed up, and Willoughby Eastlake's on the move. There's a wonderful video that's put together to highlight some of these things. It's posted on our webpage. I would highly recommend, if you had 4 minutes and 46 seconds, to take a click and take a look at that wonderful video. Again, students, completely student-generated in 2 days. Next step in the process is the personalized touch of meeting with families to begin the process of scheduling for next year, so that families are aware of the courses that are available and the next step in that journey. And so we're trying to take that to the next level. I also want to note that I'm proud of, we've had 13 students at North and 13 students at South that qualified for the Governor's Merit Scholarship. Each of these students are awarded up to $5,000 a year for their scholastic achievements. And this group represents the top 5% of students in their respective graduating classes. And so we have a lot to celebrate in that particular bucket. In 9B, all of this will be posted to the website, so you do not have to take notes. But some important dates that are coming up that we want to go ahead and share real quick. First, during the second semester, as promised, we have 2 themed coffee talks coming up. because I don't feel like I'm caffeinated enough compared to the fall semester. And so on March 6th, we'll have our evening of school finance, a riveting evening to come out, ask questions, and have a two-way dialogue about some of the stuff we just heard about a few moments ago here at the board office. And so we're hopeful that you can join us to learn more about how our schools are financed on that evening. And then April 3rd, we'll talk about academics, the vision for academics, as well as safety and security in the district. That will be at South High School. Again, we'll publish that on the website. We'll push that on social media soon. March 18th, first ever State of the Schools address. We're going to welcome, extend a warm welcome to anyone that would like to attend. March 18th, we'll be at North High School. There'll be a link to RSVP on the website. We're also going to honor our first ever Citizen of the Year. I'm not going to, spoil the surprise now, but we think we have a really special citizen that has given a lot to this community over the years that we're going to honor, and again, in that first ever. And again, that'll be March 18th. April 24th, we have our community portrait night. We're working on our shared vision and our portrait of a graduate. It's going to culminate in an evening. We're going to invite our community to come out and take a look at where we're at and give some final feedback on those skills and competencies that our students are going to need to be 21st century ready. Again, 2 high schools, but we have 1 graduate. And we're getting mighty close to that graduation event in May. Speaking of May 7th, we have our North-South Scholarship Night we're going to do together, again, in the spirit of 1 graduate and honoring the scholarship dollars available to our students in Willoughby Eastlake. We'll do that at North High School. And then we have our North-South Top 10 Night, which we're going to kick it up a notch. That'll be on May 13th. Again, all of that will be published on the website, and we'll push it on social media soon. We wanted to give everyone a preview. Lastly, the much-anticipated calendars for the 24th and 25 and 25 and 26 school year. I mean, many people are already thinking 2 years out, which is crazy. Those calendars will be finalized by spring break. We're putting some final touches on them, but tonight we will release the start of school for next year, the vacations for next year, as well as the end of school. You'll find that on our website as well as social media. It's actually time to go out very soon. We want to give people a preview so that if you're planning for this summer, you can get a head start on that. We appreciate the patience this year because we're actually putting a new process in place to make sure we get feedback and make sure that our final calendar is the calendar. And so look for those dates tonight. Actually, the calendar's right here, so I'm not lying. It literally is right here. So stay tuned as we finalize that. In 9C, student advisory updates. Today, junior and senior students and we went to 68 Hours of Hunger. We had a chance to visit the site and then learn a little bit about what that organization does. The students are interested in hosting a food drive here in Willoughby Eastlake in the month of March. They are calling this Food Fight 24. They want to take the north side and the south side of the district and once again, for a good cause, rally around ending hunger in Lake County. This group of students is quite impressive because not only do they come together around a service project once a month with me, but they're also the honest feedback keepers for the state of things from the student perspective. And so I've appreciated them and their insight, and I continue to welcome them to our student advisory meetings, our next one's at the end of the month. We also have 9D, a parent advisory meeting scheduled for the end of the month. This group continues to be a crucial voice in our continuous improvement efforts. This month, we're talking about our shared vision, and we're talking about project proposal processes across each campus, as well as how we support student field trips and student experiences to provide some more equity across our campuses. And then 9E, finally, we have our portrait of a graduate steering committee. As noted previously, we're committed to ensuring all of our students in Willoughby Eastlake are future ready. Our steering committee met this month to help us work towards identifying the top competencies that we want reflected in our portrait here in Willoughby Eastlake. Leading the way so far are some of the themes around collaboration and teamwork, being communicators that can read, write, speak, and listen, critical thinkers who can problem solve, curiosity and creative students, accountability, adaptability, and resilience are some of the themes that continue to emerge through these discussions, and we're hopeful, to have this finalized by April. As if that's not enough to celebrate, let me just end with some athletic accomplishments, because we've got a lot going on in our campuses with regards to athletics right now. At South High School, kudos to our wrestling team as they wrap up their winter season 9-3 for their dual record. The South Rebels boys basketball are 5-3 in the conference. The swimming team is 7-4, and at South High School has 13 students that are going to the district swim meet, and they should be commended for that accomplishment. On the north side of the district, If you were at the North-South game last week on Friday night, it was an electric environment. North did just nudge out South this time, and both student sections absolutely made me so proud to be superintendent of Willoughby East Lake Schools. Not only were they classy, but they pushed the boundaries on energy, enthusiasm, and the roof on that gym was rocking. But of note, the boys basketball, Sean Register, he's a junior, broke the school's single-game scoring record with 51 points at, of all places, Mayfield on 126. Sean Register is already the school's all-time leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker rather, for a season and career. If the boys basketball team at North wins tomorrow night, they will clinch the conference title for the first time since 2014. Kudos to the Rangers. The girls basketball team at North also is headed to Wadsworth this Saturday, and they'll participate in the OHSSA first round of the tournament. North also has a swimming student that qualifies for districts. And then in wrestling at North, interestingly enough, actually two final sports here. In wrestling, they're 9-5 in their dual record and a runner-up. And then lastly, the boys and girls bowling team at North High School won the conference this year. And so they should be commended for that accomplishment. Good luck at sectionals on 219. And that is all I got.
Well, Dr. Ward, I would like to call out one other statistic in North sports.
Okay.
For the first time in North gymnastics history, we had one of our gymnasts place in every competition. And I know her personally, and she did an amazing job.
Ava Mitchell.
Ava Mitchell.
She's also in the notes, and so
Yes.
ask for forgiveness and grace. I left my glasses in the car, and so this was all winging it tonight. So
You did great.
that was good. Thank you.
Welcome.
You're
Ready?
still-
I'll keep going. All right. 10A, the flock safety platform. The flock safety platform flags license plates and will alert school office and law enforcement of unwanted vehicles that enter our campuses. This system was purchased with grant money and continues to show our commitment to keeping our students safe while on our campus.
Do I hear a motion to approve 10A flock safety platform?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve item 10A.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
I-
Mr.
I just really appreciate how we've made a dedicated effort to apply for all of these safety grant dollars and put them to use and prioritize them. And I thank everyone in the district who's been involved in that, keeping our kids safe. I see someone in the back.
Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Absolutely.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, item 10B would be office construction project at NCI East, also grant money. The purpose of this project is to relocate the office towards the front for security and safety purposes so that fewer people have to come into the building.
Do I hear a motion to approve 10B office construction project at NCI Eastlake?
Motion to approve item 10B.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President, I second 10B office construction project at NCI Eastlake.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, item 10D would be our agreement with Cuyahoga Community
C.
College for
You
College
missed
Credit
one.
Plus.
You missed C.
No way. That's a rookie mistake right
He
there.
forgot his glasses in the car.
Yeah, I know.
Dr.
Oh,
Ward, it's teamwork tonight.
thank you. This is helpful, and I appreciate it. So item 10C would be the auction of the mobile fab trailer. So as it turns out, we now have fab labs in all of our campuses, and we're looking to develop a program around those fab labs so that all students have access tied to their school. As a result, the trailer that once served a purpose to travel around the district is no longer necessary. And so item 10C would be approval to auction off the trailer.
Do I hear a motion to approve 10C auction of mobile fab lab trailer?
Madam
Madam President, I make a motion to accept 10C auction of mobile fab lab trailer.
Do I hear a second?
I second item 10C.
Discussion?
I'm sad to see it go because as a parent, I volunteered and the Fab Lab was kind of the beginning of something much greater, but it's kind of sad to see it go, but exciting to see that it's in all of our schools. So thank you to those that helped see the Fab Lab project become district-wide and for helping support get it into every single school.
Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, we're back on track. Item 10D would be the CCP agreement with the Cuyahoga Community College. 10E would be the adoption of the policy relative to College Credit Plus. 10F would be an overnight field trip request for the Business Academy. Item 11A, under the certified personnel, I'd like to call attention to the 5 names under the approval for tenure. As I note often, tenure is a significant accomplishment in the profession. We're going to be honoring all the 10-year candidates in the month of May, but this would be something to take a look at. We also have 2 retirements, 2 social studies teachers, one from North, one from South. Congratulations to them as well. For item 11B, our classified personnel. We also have some things to note in there real quick. Several appointments for student monitors and food service. We always appreciate that help in our campuses. It's always difficult to find great help. And then, under resignations, we have a series of new names, as well as project help tutors and student monitors, so congratulations to those. And under retirement, we have the 2 secretaries, one at Royal View, Constance, and Dawn, who we honor tonight. 11C would be supplemental contracts, and then I think that is it for me.
I'm going, having technical difficulties with my computer, so
You're not
1
the only
minute.
one.
Yeah, I can't get it to load either. Andrea.
It's just an example of our collaboration.
Moving on to 12A, meeting notification. The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 11, 2024, at 6 p.m. at the Administration Building, 35353 Curtis Boulevard, Eastlake, Ohio. 13A, do I hear a motion to adopt the consent calendar?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve 13A consent calendar.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to 14A. Do I hear a motion to adjourn to executive session for conferences with legal counsel related to pending or imminent court action? We will be taking action after this executive session.
Madam President, I make a motion for item 14A.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President, I second. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Discussion? Mr. Charnello?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
We're in executive session at 7:19 p.m.
Do I hear a motion to approve 14B?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve item 14B. D?
B.
B as in boy.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Discussion? Does everyone have enough information to make their decision this evening?
Yes.
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 And yes.
Perfect. Mr. Tarnello, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
I have a brief statement I'm going to read. The Willoughby Eastlake City Schools Board of Education has authorized a lawsuit against AECom Technical Services and Then Design Architects for damages arising out of the design and construction defects at South High School and the YMCA West End campus. The YMCA West End Board of Directors is fully participating in the case and sharing expenses. At the time of the project development, the YMCA and the school district signed a construction agency agreement. The district agreed to represent the YMCA on the project, and that is why all claims now have to go through the district. It would be inappropriate for us to comment further until the legal proceedings have been completed. I assure you that the board is committed to sharing necessary information while respecting legal limitations and protecting the integrity of the case. Our top priority remains the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and community, and this lawsuit aligns directly with that commitment. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President, I second. I did it.
Good job on the
Miss-
draw there, Jamie.
Discussion?
Mrs. Bear,
No discussion.
I
Yes.
feel very proud of myself.
Mr. Tarnello?
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes. I was confused. I was told. Jamie got me shook. That was weird.
Mrs. Verdi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schatzman,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 8:14 PM.